Hey guys, it's Snow, aka Jed, the rogue behind classicroguecraft.com. So you guys liked my Veil 2k DPS guide, and today we're going to take a deep dive into my 1.6k DPS Razorgore fight. And we're going to break down the mechanics, rotations, and how you want to approach the Razorgore fight as a rogue in order to get that juicy 99 pass. But first, a word from our sponsors. Well, I still don't have any sponsors, but if you like these free videos and guides, you can get even more guides by going to twitch.tv/snowme and hitting that subscribe button. Not only do Twitch subs help support Classic ROGUECRAFT, but you also get extra rogue video guides once per week in the sub-only channel of my Discord. Last week's subs received a full 1-hour Blackwing Lair raid commentary, and this week they're receiving a Blackwing Lair advanced vanish usage tutorial video. So come say hi and hit that sub button and get yourself some extra rogue guides while helping to support classicroguecraft.com. Okay, so the first thing to know about passing on Razorgore is that this egg breaking phase doesn't count towards your pass. It's only when you're attacking Razorgore in phase 2 that your damage is counted towards your pass score. That said, you shouldn't just ignore phase 1. So let's go step by step breaking down the full Razorgore fight and how you should perform it as a rogue. Phase 1 is all about keeping up with the ad spawns, while someone in your guild handles destroying the 30 eggs. It's basically a DPS check for your guild to be able to kill ads quick enough, and generally if you're in a solid guild, the ad phase shouldn't really pose any issues here. Some guilds choose to split up into 2 groups for ads, some into 4 groups, and some may even not set groups and just let the raid run around by themselves. It doesn't really matter which strategy your guild uses here as long as the ads are dying quick enough to keep up with the spawns. Now your main job here is to just get on the ads quickly and DPS them down. Super simple. Again, your DPS during the ads phase isn't counted towards your actual Razorgore pass, but you should still be active on engaging these spawns quickly and helping to get them down. You won't typically use slice and dice too often during phase 1 due to these mobs just dying way too fast. Now generally my rule of thumb is I try to only slice and dice if I know I'll have mobs to hit during the full slice and dice duration, and only if it isn't costing me a backstab. The casters in particular here tend to die way too fast to be worth slice and dicing usually, but I'll sometimes throw in a slice and dice up on the beefier dragon ads. Okay, so towards the end of the ads phase, at about 25-ish eggs in, you want to start prepping in your head for phase 2 to begin. The Razorgore phase 2 fight starts and ends insanely quick if your guild is doing it correctly. So things can get really hectic, and it's just a good idea to start thinking through what you need to do in your head before phase 2 starts. Now for the actual phase 2 of the Razorgore fight, your guild's strategy will determine your past success even more than anything else really. So I'm going to run through what you and your entire guild should be doing, and if your guild isn't doing this, then you really want to be convincing them to change to this strategy. You basically will not be able to compete on rogue Razorgore passes if your guild refuses to fight Razorgore correctly. So the way Razorgore phase 2 works is whoever breaks the last egg is going to get a ton of aggro instantly. This is why you typically have your main tank break that last egg, and Razorgore will immediately aggro him with massive threat levels. The catch here is that early on, Razorgore will also cast an AoE called Conflagration on whoever is on top of threat, aka whoever's main tanking Razorgore. Conflagration basically makes the main tank disorientated for 10 seconds, and Razorgore will then swap to whoever is second on threat. Basically, this means your Razorgore off-tank's entire job on Razorgore is to get as much threat as he can in phase 2 so that Razorgore conflags the main tank and swaps to him instead of swapping to killing any rogues or DPS warriors. Towards the end of phase 1, he should be pooling and building up a ton of rage, and as soon as Razorgore goes live in phase 2, his entire job is just to go ham on Razorgore and be a threat god. So really, in Razorgore, your off-tank is kind of your main tank. He's the guy who's going to be in charge of handling all the main duties of threat for this fight. Okay, so now let's talk about what you'll be doing as a rogue in phase 2. Now, right before that last egg gets broken, you want you and all your other DPS moving over to be positioned behind Razorgore. I sometimes see guilds still do the very old school hide in the cubby strategy for phase 2 start, but that's actually not required because Razorgore's cleave and fireball, all of that is frontal, so there's no need to actually hide, just stand behind him instead. Okay, now here's where things can get a little complicated depending on guild's kill time. So first I'm going to go over a rough breakdown of what you should be doing. Then we'll deep dive into logs and kill times to show you how I try to optimize my rotations and abilities to max DPS even further. So the basic strategy is as soon as Razorgore is attackable, you want to start attacking right away with full DPS, and you want to pop your free action potion to avoid getting stunned. You don't have to worry about initial aggro because Razorgore will have massive threat on the main tank just for breaking that last egg. You want to open with your standard opener of 1 backstab into slice and dice, or 2 sinister strikes into slice and dice for you sword rogues, then get blade flurry and adrenaline rush up ASAP. Then your rotation will continue as normal, but you want to remember to throw in a Thistle Tea and Goblin Sabotage if you are an engineer. So basically, you're just trying to blow all your cooldowns and everything you can inside this super short kill window before Razorgore dies. The biggest factor by far when I look at other rogues who don't get good Razorgore passes is that they or their guild isn't stacking up and engaging Razorgore right away, and that completely ruins their kill times and passes. So if you look here at my log, you notice from the very start of the phase, me and my guildies are already attacking Razorgore. This is a huge difference from some guilds where you see melee not even do anything for the first 4 to 5 seconds and slowly trickle in to start phase 2 damage. You should be starting phase 2 already prepared and in position if you want to have a high Razorgore pass. The only thing I will say for those in slightly more casual guilds is you do need to have an off tank who's doing the job to build big threat in phase 2. If your off tank isn't up to the job, or isn't as good with threat, then you may have to wait a few seconds. But you should still be positioned behind Razorgore ready to go during phase 2 start. Okay, so let's talk advanced rogue rotations for Razorgore. Now this will only apply to guilds with quicker kill times, but it's still good for those in less hardcore guilds to understand how all of this works, as your Razorgore kill times will slowly improve as your guild gets more geared and as you get more comfortable with the fight and implement better strategy. The key here is because Razorgore is so short, we can optimize our slice and dice and DPS cooldowns to be less wasted. So here's a list of what you can optimize depending on your guild's kill time. 1. Pre-pop your free action potion if your Razorgore fight is less than 30 seconds. So this will be the most common optimization. There's basically no reason not to pop your free action potion right before the fight begins if you kill Razorgore in under 30 seconds. It will outlast the duration of the fight and you won't have to worry about using it after the fight begins. There's so much you're trying to think about during the actual Razorgore fight, so it's just one less thing you have to worry about if you're pre-popping your free action potion. Now you can see your fight length really easily just by looking up your kills on Warcraft logs and just seeing how fast your guild has been killing Razorgore in previous weeks. 2. Be careful refreshing slice and dice towards the end of the fight if your fight length is less than, say, 18 seconds or so. So your typical opener for daggers is 1 backstab into slice and dice, and it's 2 sinister strikes into slice and dice for sword rogues. This means as a dagger rogue in particular, your slice and dice will fall off before the fight ends, unless you're in a super quick kill guild that's killing Razorgore in 14 seconds or less. Now, be careful not to fall into the trap of refreshing slice and dice towards the end of your fight if your guild kills quick, but you're not in that super quick sub 14 second kill mark. The value of a slice and dice that's up for only 2 to 3 seconds does not outweigh an extra backstab. So if your guild kills really quick, but not insane apes speed style quick, then you have to be actively thinking about whether doing that slice and dice refresh for a few seconds of uptime is costing you too much immediate damage. So for example, if we look at my log here, I know it doesn't show my first slice and dice because Warcraft's logs bugged out a little bit at times and it cut off the start of my phase 2. But basically I opened with 1 backstab into slice and dice. Then I popped on my cooldowns and we went into 5 backstabs and eviscerate, and I never refreshed my slice and dice because I estimated before the fight that my guild would kill Razorgore somewhere in that 15 to 18 second mark, and that it probably wouldn't have been worth it to refresh my slice and dice. So this is something you can think about. You really should be paying attention to your kill time for Razorgore as your guild gets quicker and quicker. 3. Pop Onyxia book on Razorgore for free damage. So sometimes you see me min-max Razorgore even further by popping my Onyxia pet book. So if you do have the pet book, I do this by equipping my Onyxia book towards the end of phase 1, giving myself 30 seconds roughly to let the equip cooldown finish so that I can pop it right before the start of phase 2, swap back to my offhand weapon for free damage, and basically this Onyxia pet is hopefully going to give me a little bit of free damage on the fight. The Onyxia pet book counts as a weapon, so you can actually swap it in and out even if you're still in combat. You just have to be careful about not using item rack specifically to swap weapons out because add-ons aren't actually allowed to swap weapons in combat. So you either have to make a macro or you have to drag it in yourself manually. So this is really just a little min-max thing that you can add into your Razorgore if you happen to have an Onyxia pet book. And if the pet actually does stay alive and attacks Razorgore, he does contribute like a decent little chunk of DPS to your Razorgore pass. 4. If your guild kills super fast, pre-pop Blade Flurry and Adrenaline Rush. So Adrenaline Rush and Blade Flurry last 15 seconds each, but it takes 1 to 2 globals to get slice and dice up first, assuming you're a dagger or sword rogue. Then you'll need another 2 globals to get both Adrenaline Rush and Blade Flurry up. So in this case, your uptime for those would be actually longer than the rest of the fight if you're killing super fast. So in that case, you can actually look at pre-popping Adrenaline Rush and Blade Flurry before the fight even begins, since the duration is going on longer than your actual fight. So I'm going to actually assume that if you're in a guild that is killing Razorgore this fast, you probably already knew about pre-popping these already, but I'm including this just for those who might still be actively working towards reaching that sort of kill speed, and you just might want to be aware of these optimizations that can happen once you do reach these kill speeds. 5. Super fast speedrunning guilds with fast kill times can actually substitute the free action potion for living action potions. So this is a strat that I actually got from Nether, who's the rogue class lead over in Dream State, one of the top speedrunning guilds in WoW. But basically by using living action potions reactively instead of free action potions, this allows you to attempt to kill Razorgore before the first stun goes out, hopefully. So if you get that decent RNG and you succeed in killing Razorgore before that stun goes out, then you still have your potion cooldown timer up to lip on Veil. But if the stun does go out and you didn't get the good RNG, then you can still pop your living action potion to break the stun and recover. Note that this strategy is pretty much exclusive to super fast Razorgore kills, as anyone who's not killing him super fast in that 12 to 15 second kind of range doesn't need to worry about this because you won't be killing him before he stuns anyway, and you should be using a free action potion instead. 6. So you can actually cheese the Razorgore fight a little bit by getting a slice and dice up on the ads before Razorgore actually goes active for phase 2. Now this can be a little bit risky and tricky to do at times because the ads die so fast. Sometimes it's just really hard to get more than a 1 or 2 point combo point on them before they die and then pop your slice and dice before the mob dies. It can be really hard to fit that in. So in general, I don't normally go for this cheese, but if you can pull it off, it does mean that you can go into the Razorgore fight with a slice and dice up already, and that just means you just min-max even more and you get a little bit more extra damage. But I have a very hit or miss rate with this trick because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't because it puts me out of position and I'm trying to get back to Razorgore in time, and in general it's just not a very consistent trick. So I watch out for it and see if I can do it every week, but if it's going to put me in an awkward position to try to do it, then I'll just skip it entirely. Okay, so wrapping up, remember the key to Razorgore passes is starting the DPS ASAP. So as soon as possible, you want to get on him and start DPSing and making use of every single DPS cooldown. What will hurt you the most in your passes is simply just not engaging right away, not being in position, and not blowing every single DPS cooldown. So remember to use everything, including your Thistle Tea and Sapper charges, and this will get even more hectic when rogues start finishing their Renataki's ZG trinket in a couple of weeks, because that's just one more thing you'll be needing to remember to pop during that short fight. Keep in mind that the fight really it's a super hectic fight, and sometimes you won't get perfect usage of every single thing, but the important thing is that you at least use all those cooldowns. So for example, the ideal Thistle Tea timing is using it when you have 0 to 10 energy. But in this fight in particular, in this video, I popped it between 10 to 20 energy because I just didn't have time to try to wait for a better timing window, just due to how short the fight was. So I had to just squeeze in a slightly less optimal Thistle Tea timing. But it was still a 1.6k DPS fight. So as long as you're positioning properly at the start of phase 2, you're popping all your cooldowns in general, you're not getting stunned, those things will all contribute and you should be able to get a very high Razorgore pass, as long as you can convince the rest of your guild to buy in and make sure that they are also positioning properly and getting ready to attack as soon as Razorgore pops into phase 2. Alright, so I hope this video helped you improve your Razorgore pass. If you found it helpful, remember to subscribe on YouTube. And if you want to help support this free content, you can head over to twitch.tv/snowme, hit that subscribe button, and get yourself extra subscriber-only videos in my Discord channel. This week's extra subscriber video is on advanced Blackwing Lair vanish tricks, and will be coming in the next day, so keep an eye out in the Discord for that. Alright, so take care, I hope this helped you out, and I'll see you guys in the next video.